Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt, and today I wanted to talk about overcoming discouragement or feeling bad about your language learning. And I wanted to make this video kind of as a more practical way to overcome discouragement, feeling not motivated, feeling bad about language learning versus kind of this just video where it's like, you can do it and everyone learns the language. So that's kind of the goal of this video. So I think the first thing to really talk about is your body. And this is really important and I think is overlooked a lot of times. So first thing is, what is your posture, right? Are your shoulders kind of slouched or are your shoulders kind of arched backwards? What is your vocal tonality? Are you speaking kind of low and monotone, right? Speak louder. Speak with kind of passion in your voice. Speak kind of more positively and loudly. And after that, right, just kind of say some kind of positive affirmations, right? Like, I am going to learn this language, right? Just get your body in check, right? Move around a little bit, stand up. Because a lot of times, your mindset about things can change by just changing your physical body, right? Change your posture, change your vocal tonality and, how loud you're speaking, and just move around. And a lot of times that can really change your mindset about things. But I want to just do that first because that's not necessarily going to solve your problems, but it's a good first step. The second thing that you want to do is identify the problem. And, unfortunately, I can't tackle everyone's problem in this video, but we can talk about a couple of them. But if you don't know what the problem is, if you don't know why you're discouraged, it's going to be hard to find the solution and fix that problem. So, maybe you are discouraged about your progress with language learning. You watched a polyglot YouTuber that it's their 30-day update and they spoke the language after their 40th take and they sound awesome and you're learning that same language and you feel like you suck. And it's just breaking you down. Maybe you had a conversation partner or a conversation with a conversation partner and it didn't go so well. You just feel like you made a lot of mistakes and you thought it would go better. Maybe after a month you feel like you're not making any progress, you're not having fun, and you feel stuck. Maybe you're trying to understand grammar and it's just really hard to get down. Whatever that problem is, identify what that is. Because, or what, maybe it's not just one thing, but it's multiple problems. Identify that. And then the third thing we're going to do is come up with a way to tackle that problem, right? We want to tackle what is making us discouraged, what is making us not motivated, and go from there. Because, like I said, if we don't know what's making us discouraged, not motivated, not making progress, it's going to be hard to find the solution, even if we change our posture and all of those things. So identify those problems and then come up with a solution, right? So let's say, for example, that you are watching this polyglot YouTuber and they just make you feel bad about your overall progress. Well, first thing, just stop watching that. Stop watching content that is not making you feel good, right? Instead, focus on yourself and give yourself compliments, as you go about learning the language, right? Don't consume that content that's going to put you in a negative headspace. Maybe you just are really unsatisfied with not getting to compelling content. Well, maybe it's you've identified that, okay, I don't know a lot of words, so I need to focus on a lot of vocabulary acquisition, and I haven't been consistent about that, so I'm going to really ramp up my vocabulary acquisition, and I'm going to learn new words for 30 minutes every single day. Do that for a month, and then assess, how things went. And if it didn't go as well, I'm going to change course. I'm going to use a different app. I'm going to use a different method, and go from there and tackle that problem head on. Maybe you're really discouraged about your speaking and you're not speaking as well as you'd like. Well, maybe you need to speak more often. Maybe that's talking in the shower or scheduling more conversations with your conversation partner. Maybe it's acquiring more words. Maybe it's changing the way that you approach, speaking. Maybe you just kind of talk faster and don't worry about the mistakes. Identify the problem and then tackle that with a solution and a strategy. And, ideally this is where a lot of like goals and goal tracking and routine comes in handy, right? Because if you have goals and, don't be afraid to kind of set goals when you've identified problems, create goals, create a way to track them, and then set up a routine such that you're tackling those problems, right? Because now that we've identified problems, we can create a goal around it. we can create a routine, we can track it, and then ultimately that's going to help us to deal with that problem where it's not a problem anymore, and we're better at the language, and we're going to feel more positive. We're going to feel better. We're going to feel more motivated. We're going to be having more fun in the language. And I think kind of another thing too is that, you can listen to YouTubers or other people and tell you a bunch of concepts that might just not resonate with you, right? Like they'll be like, well, anyone can learn a language. You've got this. The grammar's hard at first, but you can do it, right? And maybe you're like, I don't care. I don't really care about, whether or not you're telling me this kind of this feel-good statement. I don't feel that way. Well, I think, one way is, like I said, tackle the problem with a strategy, and just immerse yourself in very positive influences. Maybe it's music, maybe it's just a consistent language learning routine. Maybe it's watching other language learning YouTubers. That's helped me a lot in the past. And you don't have to watch my content, watch anybody's content. Just being involved with the language learning aspect of things can really keep you motivated and kind of bring it, keep you focused on very positive influences, looking at new ways to do things, right? Whether that's, like I said, watching language learning YouTubers, whether it's being on language learning forums, reading articles, things like that. Immerse yourself in the world of language learning, because that can kind of keep you, involved with very positive influences versus maybe negative influences where you're comparing yourself, you're doubting yourself, and things like that. So kind of in conclusion, identify the problem, tackle that solution with a strategy, right? Fix your kind of body, right? Have a good vocal tonality, shoulders back, good posture, right? And surround yourself with kind of those positive language learning influences or just resources, and go from there. Because no amount of affirmations, whether it's just anybody can learn a language, it might take you a while to internalize that idea. It might take you more experience. And while it's good to keep those kind of ideas in mind, and maybe you'll hit a eureka moment and it just makes, when someone gives you that idea, it makes total sense. But outside of maybe those affirmations, tackle the problem with a strategy and a solution, and surround yourself with positive influences. So that's what I had to say. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.